Blood doesn't wash off easily. Not from concrete. Not from memory. I found him at 11:47 p.m., crumpled against my back door like discarded trash. Rain hammered the alley, turning gutters into rivers, and there he was, expensive suit, soaked black, one hand pressed to his ribs, the other gripping a gun he couldn't lift. Chicago nights have a different kind of silence, heavy, watching, like the city knows secrets it refuses to confess. His eyes found mine, dark, desperate, dying. "Hey, please." That single word split my world in two. I should have called the police, should have stepped back inside, locked the door, pretended I saw nothing. That's what smart people do. That's what living people do. But his face, God, his face held something I recognized. The same terror I'd seen in my mirror 3 years ago when Marcus walked out and the eviction notice arrived the same day. When I understood that some holes you fall into have no bottom. "Can you stand?" My voice sounded strange, calm, like I saved bleeding strangers every Tuesday. He shook his head, tried to speak, coughed blood instead. The wound was bad, professional. Whoever shot him knew exactly where to aim, low enough to miss the heart, high enough to make him suffer. This wasn't random. This was a message written in flesh. I'm not a doctor. I'm a florist. I arrange roses and baby's breath for people who still believe in beautiful things. My hands create life, not save it. But I hooked my arms under his shoulders anyway. He was heavy, heavier than he looked. Dead weight that wasn't quite dead yet. I dragged him inside, his designer shoes scraping tracks across my tile floor, leaving a snail trail of red that would take bleach and prayers to remove. My workroom smelled like eucalyptus and fear. I knocked him onto my prep table, scattering scissors and ribbon. His head lolled back, eyes rolling white. "Stay with me." I pressed towels against the wound. They bloomed red instantly, like poppies opening at dawn. "What's your name?" "Vincent." Barely a whisper. Vincent what? Doesn't matter. But it did. Because 3 hours later, when 2 men in black suits appeared at my shop asking questions with guns hidden under their jackets, I understood exactly how much it mattered. "Seen anyone unusual tonight?" The tall one smiled. His teeth were too white, too sharp. I thought about Vincent upstairs in my apartment, unconscious on my couch, still breathing, barely. "Just flowers and rain," I lied. They didn't believe me. I could see it in their eyes, the same calculation a cat makes before pouncing. But they left anyway, taking their guns and their threats with them. I locked 17 locks, checked every window twice, climbed the stairs to where Vincent lay, pale as death, chest rising and falling in shallow gasps. His jacket hung over my chair. I should have left it alone, should have known better than to search pockets belonging to a man who gets shot in dark alleys. But curiosity is just another word for stupidity in expensive wrapping. Inside, I found a phone, locked, a wallet, empty except for one thing, a photograph of a little girl, maybe 6 years old, clutching a teddy bear and smiling like the world was still safe. On the back, written in careful script, "Lily, I'm sorry." Vincent's eyes opened, found mine across the room. "They'll come for you now," he whispered, "because you saved me. I'm sorry. I should have been terrified." Instead, I felt something else entirely. Alive. For the first time in 3 years. Completely, dangerously alive. The human body holds approximately 5 liters of blood. I learned this at 3 a.m. while watching Vincent bleed through my kitchen towels, my bath towels, my good Egyptian cotton sheets I'd bought on sale last Christmas. His shirt came off in pieces. Scissors through fabric, through lies, through whatever normal life I'd convinced myself I still had. The bullet had gone clean through small mercy in a night of horrors. Entry wound front left side, exit wound back, both bleeding, both demanding attention. I didn't know how to give. "This is going to hurt," I whispered. He laughed. Actually laughed. Blood on his teeth. Everything hurts. I poured vodka, the expensive kind I saved for bad days, directly into the wound, he screamed. A sound scraped from the bottom of hell, raw and animal, and mine, because I caused it. His hand found my wrist, gripping so hard I felt bones shift. "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Don't stop." His voice fractured. "Just don't stop." So I didn't. I cleaned. I pressed. I wrapped. My hands shook the entire time, but they moved with purpose, with something beyond fear. Survival, maybe. Or stupidity dressed up as courage. By 4 a.m., the bleeding slowed. By 5, his breathing evened. By 6, dawn crept through my windows like a witness to my crime, and Vincent's eyes finally closed. I sat on my bathroom floor and cried. Silent, shaking sobs that tasted like copper and regret. I'd crossed a line I didn't know existed, and there was no going back. The police would ask questions I couldn't answer. Those men in suits would return. And Vincent, this beautiful, broken stranger, would either die in my apartment or destroy my life. Possibly both. I washed my hands 17 times. The water ran pink, then clear, but I could still see it, still feel it. Blood has a temperature. Did you know that? Warmer than you'd think. Almost intimate. At 7:15, my phone buzzed. My assistant, Maya, asking if I was opening the shop today. "Family emergency," I texted back. "Take the week." She sent back a worried emoji. I turned off my phone. Vincent slept through the morning. I watched him breathe, counted each rise and fall of his chest like prayer beads. He looked different, unconscious, younger, softer. The hard edges that had been carved into his face by whatever life he lived had smoothed in sleep. His hands fascinated me. Long fingers, calloused palms, the hands of someone who'd built things, broken things. Those hands had held a gun 3 hours ago. Now they curled against my couch cushions like a child's. Around noon, he stirred, eyes opening slow, confused, focusing on me with effort. "You're still here," he said. "It's my apartment. You could have left, should have left." "Where would I go?" I asked. "You're bleeding on my couch." Another laugh, softer this time, sad, fair point. I brought him water, helped him sit. He moved like every bone hurt, which probably wasn't far from the truth. The bandages held, small victories. "Thank you." His voice carried weight beyond courtesy. Gratitude mixed with guilt, mixed with something else I couldn't name. "You saved my life." You say that like it's a good thing, isn't it? I thought about the men at my door, the lies I'd told, the line I'd crossed. "Ask me in a week." He smiled. "God help me." I smiled back. That's when I knew I was in trouble. Not the kind that comes from harboring wounded strangers. The kind that comes from wanting them to stay. "What's your name?" he asked. "Iris, like the flower, like my mother's favorite flower." "You?" He hesitated, just a fraction of a second, but I caught it. "Vincent." Truth or lie, I couldn't tell. Didn't matter. We were both pretending now, playing house in the wreckage of reality. "Get some rest, Vincent. Will you stay?" I should have said no. Should have maintained distance, drawn boundaries, protected what was left of my sense. But his eyes held that same desperation from the alley, that same recognition of someone who understood what it meant to fall and keep falling. "Yeah," I whispered. "I'll stay." His hand found mine, squeezed once, let go. I stayed. 3 days later, everything changed. Not dramatically, not with revelation or crisis. Just a quiet shift that rewrote reality while I wasn't paying attention. "My name is Leo," he said. Morning light through my kitchen window, coffee brewing, him standing actually standing for the first time since the alley, shirtless, bandaged, beautiful in a way that made my chest ache. "You said, Vincent." I lied. Simple, direct, no apology in his voice, but something else. Something that looked like trust. "My name is Leonardo. Leo. Vincent was my father's name," he added quietly. "Sometimes, when I don't want to be me, I borrow pieces of him. It's a habit I never broke." I should have been angry. Should have demanded answers, explanations, the whole truth about who he was and why someone put a bullet in him. But I just nodded. "Okay, Leo." Relief flooded his features. "Just like that?" "You lied about your name." "I lied to armed men. We're even." He laughed real this time, not the pain-edged sound from before, the kind of laugh that crinkled his eyes and made him look almost normal, almost like someone who hadn't bled out in my arms. "Fair enough, Iris." We fell into routine after that. Strange, domestic, completely insane routine. He'd sleep on my couch. I'd bring him breakfast. We'd talk about nothing, favorite movies, worst jobs, childhood memories edited for palatability. He told me about growing up in Chicago. I told him about my failed marriage. Both of us dancing around the real questions. Why were you shot? Who were those men? What happens when you heal? The unspoken hung between us like smoke, but we pretended not to notice. "You don't have to keep doing this," he said one afternoon. I was changing his bandages, my fingers gentle against new pink skin. The wound was healing. Fast. Too fast, maybe, but I wasn't complaining. "Doing what?" "Taking care of me. You've done enough." "And what? You'll just leave? Walk out into whatever hell is waiting with half-healed wounds and nowhere to go?" "I've survived worse." "Not on my watch." His eyes caught mine. Held. Something electric passed between us. Recognition, attraction, danger, all three at once. "Why?" His voice dropped low. "Why are you doing this?" "Because you looked at me like I mattered. Because saving you made me feel purposeful for the first time in years. Because when I touch you, I feel alive instead of just existing." "Because someone should," I said instead. His hand covered mine. Warm. Steady. "Iris, don't." I pulled away. "Don't make this more than it is. You needed help. I helped. That's all." "Is it?" "No. God, no." But admitting that meant admitting I'd developed feelings for a stranger who showed up bleeding and lying, who still hadn't told me the whole truth, who would disappear the moment he could walk without wincing. "Yes," I lied. He let me. We both knew better, but we let it sit there between us, another untruth in our growing collection. That night, I woke to find him standing at my window. Moonlight carved shadows across his back, highlighting scars I hadn't noticed before. Bullet wounds, knife marks, a history written in scar tissue. "Can't sleep?" I asked. He didn't turn, thinking. "About? How to keep you safe when I leave." My heart stopped, started, stopped again. "I can keep myself safe. Not from this. Not from them." "Who's them, Leo?" Silence. Long and heavy and full of secrets I wasn't ready to hear. "People who don't forgive," he finally said. "People who don't forget." "Are you dangerous?" He turned then, eyes dark, honest. "Yes." "Should I be afraid?" "Of me?" "No." He crossed to where I stood. Close. Too close. "Of what being near me brings." "Absolutely." I should have stepped back. Should have demanded he leave right then. Middle of the night. Half-healed wound be damned. Self-preservation should have kicked in. Instead, I stepped closer. "Then why haven't you left already?" His hand came up, cupped my cheek. Gentle. Reverent. Like I was something precious he'd forgotten existed. "Because," he whispered, "I'm selfish, and you make me want to be someone who deserves to stay." I kissed him. Or he kissed me. Does it matter? Our mouths found each other in the dark, and the world narrowed. To this, his lips, my breath, the desperate honesty of two people who'd been pretending too long. When we broke apart, we were both shaking. "This is a bad idea," I said. "The worst. he agreed. You're still leaving? Yes, and I'll never see you again. Probably. Then we should stop. Right now. Before this gets complicated. His forehead pressed against mine. It's already complicated, Iris. I know. We stood there in the moonlight, holding each other like shipwreck survivors, and pretended the morning wouldn't come. It came anyway. Time moves differently when you're living a lie. Days blur. Hours stretch. 3 weeks passed, like a fever dream I couldn't wake from. Leo healed, slowly at first, then with frightening speed. By week 2, he could move without wincing. By week 3, you'd never know he'd been shot at all, except for the fresh scar tissue I'd traced with my fingers when I thought he was sleeping. He wasn't sleeping. He never was. We played house. That's the only way to describe it. I'd opened my shop, had to eventually. Bills don't stop for romance or danger, and he'd stay upstairs. Cleaning, fixing things I hadn't known were broken. The leaky faucet, the sticking window, the shelf I'd been meaning to hang for 2 years. You don't have to do this, I told him. I need to be useful. He tightened a screw. Before I go. That phrase, before I go. It hung over everything like storm clouds promising rain. Evenings became sacred. I'd close the shop, climb the stairs, find him cooking. Actual cooking, not heating up takeout, but creating meals with ingredients he'd somehow acquired without leaving the apartment. How did you get groceries? He smiled. Delivery apps are amazing. With what money? I have some savings. More lies, probably. But I'd stopped caring about truth somewhere between the homemade pasta and the way he looked at me over cheap wine. We'd eat, talk, exist in this bubble where the past didn't matter and the future didn't exist. Just us, this moment, this breath. Tell me something real, I said one night. We were on the couch, his arm around me, my head on his chest, his heartbeat steady under my ear. What do you want to know? Anything, everything, one true thing. He was quiet so long, I thought he wouldn't answer. Then I had a sister. Had, past tense. My heart cracked. What was her name? Lily. She was 6 when he stopped, breathed, started again. She would have liked you. She loved flowers. The photograph. The little girl with the teddy bear. Lily, I'm sorry. What happened to her? She got caught in something she shouldn't have. Paid the price for my family's sins. His voice was flat, empty. The tone of someone who'd cried all their tears years ago. He goes of great. That's why I can't stay, Iris. Everyone close to me gets hurt. It's not if, it's when. I sat up, turned to face him. You think I don't know that? You showed up bleeding, Leo. Men with guns came to my door. I've known from the beginning this ends badly. Then why? Because some things are worth the risk. I kissed him. Soft, sweet, heartbreaking. Even when you know they'll destroy you. We made love that night. Gentle, desperate. Goodbye wrapped in hello. His hands on my skin, writing promises he couldn't keep. My mouth against his whispering lies that sounded like forever. After, wrapped in sheets and darkness, he held me like I might disappear. 3 more days, he said. What? I can give you 3 more days. Then I have to leave. For real, for your safety. What if I don't want to be safe? Then I'll make you anyway. He kissed my forehead. Because loving you means letting you go. I didn't sleep that night. Just counted his heartbeats and memorized the weight of his arm across my waist. Banking memories for the drought ahead. The next 3 days were perfection and torture. We crammed months into hours, watched movies we'd never finish, cooked meals we barely ate, made love like the world was ending. Because it was our world. This small, stolen piece of happiness built on blood and lies. On the last night, he painted my kitchen, pale yellow, my favorite color, though I'd never told him. He'd noticed anyway. The way he noticed everything about me, how I took my coffee, that I hummed while arranging flowers, That I read the last page of books first because I hated surprises? You didn't have to do this, I said, watching him roll paint across walls. I wanted to leave you something. Something good. He climbed down the ladder. Paint in his hair. Smile on his face. So when you look at these walls, you remember me. Not the blood, not the fear, just this. I was crying before I realized it. I won't forget any of it. Good. He pulled me close. Neither will I. We stood in that almost dry kitchen, breathing paint fumes at each other, and pretended dawn wouldn't come. It came anyway. I fell in love with Leo on a Tuesday, or maybe it was Wednesday. Time stopped, meaning anything beyond, before and after. Before, my life was flowers and silence and the comfortable numbness of routine. After, everything hurt in the best possible way. Tell me about your marriage, he said one rainy afternoon. We were playing cards, his idea, but neither of us cared who won. Why? Because I want to know what hurt you before I add to the list. Fair, brutal, honest. Marcus was safe, predictable. We met in college, married young, divorced younger. He wanted someone who'd stay small. I wanted to breathe. Did you love him? I thought I did, but I think I loved the idea of being loved more than I loved him. I drew a card, discarded another. What about you? Ever been in love? Are love, are not, are not, are not, are not, are not, are not, are not. Once. He didn't elaborate. What happened? She died. Flat. Final. My fault. Lily? No. Before. I was 22 and stupid, and thought love could survive anything. He laid down his cards. It can't. Especially not in my world. What world is that, Leo? He looked at me. Really looked. And I saw the war in his eyes, truth, fighting, lies, safety, battling honesty. One I'm trying to leave, he finally said. For you. My breath caught. Don't leave anything for me. I'm not worth. You're worth everything. He was around the table before I could finish. Hands cupping my face. Eyes burning. You saved my life, Iris. Not just in the alley. Every day since. You made me remember there's more than blood and debt and violence. I'm scared, I whispered. Me too. This won't work. You know that. I know. You're still leaving. I have to. But he kissed me. Deep. Devastating. Not tonight. We spent that night pretending tomorrow didn't exist. He taught me to dance in my tiny living room. No music, just his heartbeat and mine, sinking in the silence. We swayed and turned, and held each other like the world outside my walls wasn't waiting to tear us apart. If things were different, he started. Don't. I pressed my finger to his lips. No hypotheticals. No what-ifs. Just this. Just us. Just now. Just now, he agreed. But now was running out. We both felt it. The borrowed time account running dry. Reality creeping back in through the cracks. The power went out around midnight. Storm knocked out the grid. We lit candles, romantic and cliché and perfect. Shadows danced across his face as he told me stories from a childhood that sounded equal parts fairy tale and nightmare. My father collected art, he said. Paintings worth millions. He'd make me study them for hours. Said understanding beauty was as important as understanding power. Did you learn? I learned that beautiful things get destroyed. Power just destroys faster. You're not like him. You don't know that. You don't know what I've done, who I've been. Then tell me. Silence. Long. Heavy. Then, I've hurt people, Iris. Bad people. But still, I've made choices that can't be unmade. Crossed lines that don't uncross. We all have lines. Not like mine. I took his hand, laced our fingers. I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for truth. Who are you, really? He could have lied. Should have. Instead, someone who doesn't deserve you but wants you anyway. Someone who's trying to be better but keeps failing. Someone who, his voice cracked, someone who loves you and hates himself for it. Time stopped. The world held its breath. Say that again, I whispered. I love you. The other part. I hate myself for it. Don't. I climbed into his lap, wrapped around him. Don't hate this. Whatever else is true, don't hate this. We made love by candlelight. Slow, reverent. Every touch an apology. Every kiss a prayer. When he moved inside me, I felt complete in a way that terrified me. Like I'd been broken my whole life and only just now realized. After, tangled together on the floor, he whispered, "Come with me." What? When I leave. Come with me. My heart soared, crashed, soared again. Leo, I know it's crazy. I know I have no right to ask, but I can protect you better if you're with me. I can. Where would we go? Anywhere. Everywhere. I have money, connections. We could disappear, start over, be whoever we want. It was tempting. God, it was tempting. Run away with the stranger I loved. Build a life in the margins. Pretend the past didn't matter. Ask me again in the morning, I said. He held me tighter. I will. The power came back at dawn. Lights flickering on. Reality flooding back. And with it, the sound that would end everything. Car doors. Multiple. Outside. Leo's entire body went rigid. They're here. 3 black SUVs, tinted windows, engines purring like predators who'd finally cornered prey. Leo moved fast, off the floor, across the room, peering through curtains with the practiced efficiency of someone who'd done this before, many times before. How many? I was pulling on clothes, hands shaking. At least 8, maybe more. His voice was calm, too calm, the calm of someone who'd accepted what was coming. Stay here. Don't come down. What are you? They're here for me, Iris, not you. If you stay upstairs, stay quiet. This ends clean. Clean? I grabbed his arm. Leo, what are you talking about? Who are these people? He turned, looked at me with eyes that held too many goodbyes. Family. The word landed like a bullet. Family. Not friends, not enemies. Family. What does that mean? Knocking. Hard. Authoritative. The kind of knock that says, we're coming in regardless. It means everything I told you was true, and all of it was a lie. He kissed me. Quick. Desperate. Stay here. Please. Then he was gone. Down the stairs. Opening the door to whatever hell waited. I should have listened. Should have stayed upstairs, like he asked. But I'd already crossed too many lines to start obeying now. I crept to the top of the stairs. Listened. Leonardo. A man's voice. Deep. Cultured. Dangerous. You've been difficult to find. I've been recovering. From? Taking a bullet meant for you. Silence. Then laughter. Cold. Amused. Ever the martyr, nephew. Though I notice you didn't come home. Chose a florist's apartment over family. Interesting choice. Nephew. The word crashed through me. This was his uncle, his family, the ones who'd been looking. I needed time, Leo said. Time to heal or time to plan your exit? Both. More silence. I risked a glance. Saw 7 men in expensive suits. Saw Leo, shirtless, bandaged, beautiful, and doomed in my tiny shop surrounded by flowers and threats. And I saw the man in charge. Older, silver hair, eyes like winter. He looked at Leo the way you'd look at a valuable painting that had disappointed you. You know why I'm here, the man said. I can guess. Your father is dying. Cancer. 6 months if he's lucky. He wants to see you. Wants you home. Wants a pause. Wants you to take your place. I told him no, years ago. I'm out. No one is out, Leonardo. You know this. Your blood is our blood. Your debt is our debt. You can run to flower shops and pretend to be civilian, but you're still a Moretti, still heir, still ours. Moretti. The name hit me like ice water. Even I knew that name. Everyone knew that name. Chicago's most powerful crime family. Untouchable. Deadly. The kind of people you saw on the news and thanked God you'd never meet. And I'd been sleeping with their prince. I'm not coming back, Leo said. Firm. Final. Then she dies. The uncle nodded toward the stairs, toward where I stood frozen. Your little florist. The one you think we don't know about. We've known since day 3, nephew. We let you play house, let you pretend. But playtime is over. My blood turned to ice. Leo's voice dropped. Lethal. Touch her, and I'll kill you myself. Brave words for a man surrounded. Here's how this works. You come home, take your place, honor your father's final wishes, and she lives. Normal, safe. We forget she exists. He smiled. Refuse, and we burn this shop with her in it. Your choice. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. This wasn't real. Couldn't be real. But Leo's face said otherwise. Leo's face said he'd known this was coming. That he'd been preparing for this exact moment since the night I found him. How do I know you'll keep your word? Leo asked. You don't, but you know what happens if you refuse. The uncle checked his watch. 30 seconds. Choose. End. Let me say goodbye. No, uncle. No. Steal in that word. You say goodbye. You'll try something stupid. Try to run. Try to save her. Men who try to save women die, Leonardo. You know this better than anyone. Lily. He was talking about Lily. About whoever had died before. About every person Leo had loved and lost to this life. 10 seconds. Leo's shoulders dropped. Defeat. Acceptance. Death of hope in real time. I'll come. Smart boy. But I want your oath. On Lily's grave. She lives. She stays safe. Forever. The uncle's face softened. Barely. On Lily's grave. The girl lives. You have my word. Lies. Had to be lies. But Leo nodded, like it was enough. They moved to take him. Hands on his arms, guiding him toward the door. And I couldn't stay hidden anymore. Wait. I was down the stairs before thought. Before sense. You can't just... 8 guns. Pointed at me. Instant. Synchronized. Iris, don't. Leo's voice. Panic I'd never heard before. Stand down. The uncle raised a hand. The guns lowered. He studied me like a scientist examining something under glass. So you're the one who saved him. Brave. Stupid. But brave. He's not going with you. Yes, he is. I won't let you. You have no power here, girl. Not cruel. Just stating facts. Leonardo is coming home. You're staying here. Alive. Those are your only options. Leo. I looked at him. Pleading. Desperate. It's okay. His eyes held mine. Saying everything he couldn't with his family watching. I love you. I'm sorry. Forget me. Thank you. For everything. No. We had 3 days. You said 3 days? I lied. Soft. Sad. I'm good at that. They pulled him toward the door. Wait. I lunged. Caught his hand. Held on. You promised. You said you'd ask me again in the morning. You promised. He understood. I saw it in his eyes. The question he'd asked last night. Come with me. But he shook his head. Not this morning, Iris. Not this life. Why not? Because I love you too much to make you a widow. Then he was gone. Out the door. Into the SUVs. Disappearing into a world of violence and power and blood that had claimed him long before I ever found him in that alley. The uncle paused at the door. Looked back. He'll survive this, he said. He always does. But he won't come back. Best you forget him. Find some nice civilian. Have babies. Be happy. Almost kind. Almost human. It's what he'd want. Then he was gone too, and I was alone. In my shop, full of flowers and empty promises. I didn't move for 17 minutes. Just stood there, staring at the door, waiting for it to open. For Leo to come back. For this to be a nightmare I could wake from. The door didn't open. Leo didn't come back. and I was very, very awake. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I should have ignored it, should have deleted it, should have done anything except answer. Hello, Miss Chen. A woman's voice. Professional. Cold. My name is Angela. I work for the Moretti family. I'm calling to ensure you understand the terms of this morning's agreement. There was no agreement. You took him. We reclaimed family property, and in exchange for his cooperation, you remain untouched. That's the agreement. I didn't agree to anything. Your continued existence is agreement enough. A pause. You're to have no contact with Leonardo. No calls. No letters. No attempts to find him. In return, you continue your life, safe, unharmed, clear. And if I refuse, then people you love start dying. Your assistant, Maya, your mother in Portland, your college roommate in Denver. We have a list. It's long. It's detailed. We'd prefer not to use it. Terror, pure, primal. You can't. We can. We will, unless you comply. Softer now, almost sympathetic. I know this is hard, but Leonardo made this choice. Honor it. Move on. Forget. I can't just forget. You can. You will. Women do it every day. She paused. One more thing. Your shop will receive a payment. $100,000. Anonymously, Leonardo insisted. Consider it compensation for services rendered. I don't want his money. Take it anyway. Refusing won't bring him back. It'll just make his sacrifice meaningless. The line went dead. I sank to the floor, surrounded by roses and ranunculus and the ghost of a man I'd loved for 3 weeks and would mourn for a lifetime. My phone buzzed again. Bank notification. Deposit. $100,000. Blood money. Guilt payment. The price of my silence. I should have refused it. Should have donated it. Should have burned it in the street. Instead, I kept it. Because Angela was right. Refusing wouldn't change anything. And Leo had wanted me to have it. One last gift from a man who gave me everything and took it all away. The next 3 days I functioned on autopilot. Opened the shop, arranged flowers, smiled at customers, died inside. Maya noticed. You okay? You seem off. Family stuff? I lied, getting good at that. Anything I can help with? No, but thanks. She squeezed my shoulder, went back to work, and I went back to pretending I wasn't shattered. At night, I researched. Leonardo Moretti, the Moretti family. Every article, every mention, every scrap of information the internet offered. What I found terrified me. The Morettis weren't just mob. They were the mob. Old money, old power, older violence, and 4 generations of controlling Chicago's underworld. Drugs, gambling, construction, politics if it made money or wielded power, they owned it. And Leo's father, Vincent Moretti Sr., was the king. Dying king, according to his brother, but king nonetheless. Ruthless, brilliant, responsible for at least 40 murders that could be proven and hundreds more that couldn't. Leo was his only son, heir apparent, destined from birth to inherit an empire built on bodies. But there were gaps, years where Leo disappeared from public record, where the perfect son vanished and came back different, harder, colder. I found one article, 5 years old, about a massacre in a Chicago nightclub, 23 dead, gang war gone wrong. And buried in the 3rd paragraph, among the casualties, was Lily Moretti, 6, daughter of reputed mob associate. I stopped reading, couldn't finish, couldn't bear to see her name in print reduced to a casualty statistic. She'd died because of Leo's world, and he'd been carrying that guilt ever since. No wonder he wanted out. No wonder he couldn't stay. I found a photo of him, formal, maybe 5 years ago, standing next to his father at some charity event. He looked different. Expensive suit, slicked hair, Cold eyes that held no light, no life, no Leo. That wasn't the man I loved. The man I loved painted kitchens and cooked pasta and held me like I was precious. But they were the same person, both true, both real, both impossible. A week passed. Then two, life continued. Customers bought flowers, bills got paid, the world turned. I repainted the kitchen, covered Leo's yellow with white. Couldn't look at it anymore. Couldn't bear the reminder. My mother called, wanted to visit. I made excuses. Maya asked me on a double date. I declined. I existed. That's all. Just as existed. Until the letter came. No return address. Plain envelope. My name written in handwriting I'd recognize anywhere. I sat in my apartment, holding it like a bomb. Because that's what it was. A bomb wrapped in paper, waiting to destroy whatever fragile piece I'd built. I should have burned it, should have thrown it away unopened, should have honored the agreement and moved on. Instead, I opened it. Iris, if you're reading this, I failed. I promised myself I wouldn't reach out, wouldn't make this harder. But I'm weak, always have been, especially when it comes to you. By now, you know the truth. You've done research. I know you. You always need to understand. You know who I am, what I am. And you're wondering if any of it was real. It was. God help me, it was all real. I wasn't supposed to fall in love. Wasn't supposed to stay. The plan was heal, leave, forget. But you made forgetting impossible. You saved my life and gave me a reason to want one. That's a gift I don't deserve, but will treasure forever. I need you to understand something. I didn't choose them over you. I chose your life over mine. If I'd stayed, if I'd run, they would have killed you. Slowly, painfully. As punishment, as example. That's how my world works. Love is weakness. Weakness is death. So I walked away. Back into the darkness. Back into the life I tried to escape. But I made them promise, on my sister's grave, that you'd be safe, that you'd be left alone forever. It's not enough. I know. Nothing could be enough. But it's all I have. Don't try to find me. Don't write back. Don't think about me more than you have to. Build a life. Find someone worthy of you. Someone safe. Some end town. Also, end quote. End quote. Someone who can give you the happiness I can only destroy. I love you. I'll always love you. But love isn't enough. Not in my world. Thank you for 3 weeks of light in a lifetime of darkness. Thank you for making me believe, briefly, that I could be someone else. I'm sorry. Forever yours and never yours, Leo. P.S. The money isn't blood money. It's freedom. Use it to expand your shop. Travel. Do something that makes you happy. Let it be something good that came from me instead of something broken. I read it 7 times. Cried through all of them. He was right. Love wasn't enough. Not against his world. Not against the violence and power and chains that bound him. But God, I wanted it to be. I wanted to run to Chicago. Storm whatever fortress held him. Demand he choose me. Choose us. Choose love over legacy. But that was fantasy. Reality was sitting alone in my apartment, holding a letter from a man who loved me enough to let me go. I should have burned the letter, should have deleted his memory, should have moved on, like Angela said. Instead, I kept it, put it in a box with the shirt he'd worn, the one I'd cut off him that first night, still stained with his blood, still smelling, faintly, of him. My reliquary of loss, my shrine to 3 weeks of almost. That night, I dreamed of him. He was standing in an alley, bleeding, reaching for me. But every time I got close, he'd disappear, over and over, reaching and vanishing, saving and losing. I woke up crying. A month passed, then 2, then 6. The shop expanded. I used his money like he asked. hired another employee, bought better equipment, actually thrived. Maya met someone, a teacher, nice guy, safe. They got engaged at Christmas. You should date, she said. It's been months since your family thing. Time to get back out there. I smiled, lied, maybe, but I couldn't. Every man I met was measured against a ghost, against the memory of someone who'd bled in my arms and painted my kitchen and loved me enough to walk away. No one measured up. I told myself it would fade. That time would dull the edges, make the pain manageable. It didn't. Every yellow thing hurt, every Italian restaurant, every man with dark hair and sad eyes. The world was full of triggers, and I had no armor. At night, alone, I'd reread his letter, trace the words with my fingers, imagine him writing it, imagine him thinking of me the way I thought of him. Constant, consuming, impossible. I was haunted by a man who was still alive, still breathing, somewhere in Chicago, living a life I'd never know, making choices I'd never understand, becoming someone I wouldn't recognize. Or maybe still the same, maybe still painting things yellow, still thinking of me. Probably not. Probably he'd moved on, found someone appropriate, someone from his world who understood the rules, someone who could survive what I couldn't. I hoped so, desperately. Because if he was suffering like I was, then his sacrifice was pointless, and I needed it to mean something. I needed his walking away to have saved me, even if it destroyed him. February came, 1 year since the night I found him, 1 year since my life divided into before and after. I closed the shop early, went to the alley behind my building, stood where he'd fallen. The bloodstains were long gone, washed away by rain and time and the city's indifference. But I could still see them, still smell the copper, still feel the weight of him in my arms. I love you, I whispered to the darkness. I'll always love you, but I'm trying to let go. The darkness didn't answer. I went home, put his letter back in the box, closed the lid. Tomorrow I'd try again, try to move on, try to build a life that didn't revolve around a ghost. Tomorrow. But tonight, I let myself grieve. One more time. One last time. For the man I saved, for the love I lost, for the life we never got to live. The fire started at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday, or maybe Wednesday. I'd stopped tracking days like I used to. Time was just a thing that happened around me now, not to me. I woke to smoke, acrid, choking, too late to be cigarette drift, too thick to be a candle. My shop was burning. I ran downstairs in my nightgown, saw flames eating through my workroom, consuming flowers, devouring wood, destroying everything. 911 firefighters, neighbors in bathrobes, Maya crying, the world moving fast, while I stood frozen. They saved the building, mostly, but the shop, my beautiful expanded shop, was gone, ruined. A year of success turned to ash in 3 hours. The fire marshal came the next day, investigated, delivered his verdict. Electrical, old wiring, these buildings. He shook his head. Peace. You're lucky you woke up. Another 10 minutes, and the whole place goes. Lucky. That's what he said. I was lucky. I stood in the ruins and laughed. Hysterical, broken, because luck was the last thing I had. Insurance paid, enough to rebuild, enough to start over. I didn't. Why not? Maya asked. We were sorting through what could be salvaged. Not much. This is your dream. Your life. Was, I corrected. Past tense. So what now? You just give up? I looked at the scorched walls, the melted equipment, the ghost of a yellow kitchen, visible through the destruction. Yeah, I said. I think I do. I wondered if electrical wires knew how to carry revenge, if sparks could be instructed to punish. I never asked. And no one ever offered proof. I sold the building, paid Maya severance, apologized for letting her down. Where will you go? She asked. I don't know. Somewhere else. Somewhere without memories. Iris, I'm tired, Maya. I've been tired for a year. I just want to sleep without dreaming, exist without hurting. Can you understand that? She hugged me, tight. Yeah, I can. I left Chicago 2 weeks later. One suitcase, one box. Everything else donated or trashed or burned. I moved to Portland, near my mother, far from everything I'd lost. Got a job at a grocery store, stocking shelves. Mindless, easy, the opposite of creation. My mother worried. You're too talented for this. Why aren't you doing flowers? I needed a change. This isn't a change. This is hiding. She was right. But I didn't care. Months blurred. Seasons changed. I existed in monochrome. Work, home, sleep, repeat. No dating. No friends. No life beyond the minimum required for survival. I was fine with that. Fine was better than broken. Numb was better than bleeding. Then the letters started. First one arrived in April. No return address. But I knew the handwriting. I knew what it meant the second I saw the handwriting. He wasn't supposed to write, which meant either he no longer cared about the rules, or he had the power to bend them. Iris, I heard about the fire. I'm sorry. If you need anything, money, help, anything, just say the word. Still not supposed to contact you. But rules feel less important when you're hurting. L. I burned it. Didn't even finish reading. Second one came in May. I know you burned the last one. I would too. But I need you to know I'm checking on you, making sure you're okay. I have people watching, not threatening, just watching, making sure you're safe. Tell me to stop, and I will. L. I burned that one too. Third one came in June. You're in Portland, working at a grocery store, living alone. That's all I know. That's all I let them tell me. You deserve better. Better job, better life, better man. I'm still not him, but I'm trying. Does that matter? L. I didn't burn that one. Put it in a drawer instead, with the first letter, the one from a year ago. Fourth one came in July. My father died 2 weeks ago. I'm in charge now. The thing I never wanted. The crown I tried to refuse. But here I am, king of a kingdom built on blood, making the same choices he made, becoming the man I swore I'd never be. I think about you every day. Wonder if you think about me. Probably not. Probably you've moved on, found someone safe, someone worthy. I hope so. I really do. But God, I miss you. L. I cried reading that one. First tears in months. Fifth one came in August. There's a way out. I've been planning, working, building something outside the family. Legitimate, clean. It'll take time, maybe years, but it's possible. Freedom, eventually. Would you wait if I asked? Would you wait for me to become someone who deserves you? Don't answer. I have no right to ask, but I'm asking anyway. L. I told myself I was done, that I'd buried him with the shop and the ashes and the life I couldn't rebuild. But grief isn't the same as letting go, and love doesn't die just because it's inconvenient. I wrote back that night. First time, only time. Leo, yes. Iris. Mailed it before I could change my mind, before sense kicked in, before I remembered all the reasons this was impossible. His next letter came 3 days later. Yes, that's all you wrote. One word. But it's everything. I don't deserve this. Don't deserve you. But I'm going to try to become someone who does. Wait for me. Please. However long it takes. Wait for me. I love you. L. The letters kept coming. Once a month. Always short. Always honest. Updates on his progress. His plans. His slow, painful extraction from a life that didn't want to let go. I wrote back, not every time, but enough, keeping the connection alive, feeding the hope I'd tried to bury. Leo, I got a new job, florist again, small shop, nice owners. It feels good to create again. I'm waiting, like I promised. How much longer? Iris. Iris? 2 years, maybe 3. I have to do this right. Clean. No loose ends. Can you wait that long? L. Leo, I've waited this long. What's a few more years? I love you too. In case that wasn't clear. Iris. Iris, it's clear now. L. Time moved differently now. Not faster, not slower, just forward. With purpose, with destination. I built a life in Portland. Small, quiet, but mine. Made friends, dated a little, never seriously, learned to laugh again. But always, at the back of everything, was the waiting, the hoping, the promise I'd made to a man who was trying to become someone new. Would he succeed? I didn't know. Would we get our chance? Unclear. But for the first time in years, I had hope. And hope, I was learning, was enough to keep breathing. The latest letter sat on my table. Arrived yesterday. Iris? Soon. Not yet, but soon. I'm almost ready. Almost free. Almost someone who can come to you without bringing darkness. Keep waiting, please. It's almost over. All my love, Leo. I pressed the letter to my chest, closed my eyes, whispered into the empty room. I'm waiting. I'll always wait. Somewhere in Chicago, I hoped he heard me. Somewhere between his world and mine, I hoped we'd find a place to meet. Somewhere in the future, I hoped we'd get our 3 weeks back. But longer this time. Forever. If we were lucky. And I was starting to believe in luck again.